Scrolling TikTok can sometimes feel like an empty void. Video after video, endless scrolling, your brain's turned off. Then you see a ramen lasagna. Come on. Food is being bastardized, minimizing those who've dedicated their lives to a craft, the passion of an entire industry in exchange for virality. Sure, there's convenience and content to feed your fried dopamine receptors, but has the need for convenience and pure visual excess replaced the #1 reason that cooking even exists? Cooking isn't always about the time that it takes or the flavor that you're creating, it's about the culture and the collective experience that you have with the people you care about. Even if that person is just you. But I want to understand this nonsense. We're not just taste testing a bunch of bull. Today we are making the most viral TikTok recipes that exist to see if they're just pure view grabs or if they're actually worth something. Starting with this. We've all seen the pink sauce. If you haven't, here's how it's made. Mayo, ranch powder, cayenne, salt, honey, dragon fruit powder. Why? White distilled vinegar. Water this strange sauce down. That'll really help it, I think. I'm being facetious, by the way. I do not think it will help it at all. Let's taste. This is not Pepto-Bismol. This is pink sauce. Please understand, everything will be rated on a tier list scale. S tier being the highest. F tier being, well, an F. Not good. Oh my God. That's it. That is abysmal. It's a sweet Miracle Whip. It's just got this like vinegary, just unnatural scent to it. But on the tail end, there is a nice little garlicky flavor. That is if you don't throw up. Vikram, I need you to come and try this.
Oh, that's crazy. That legitimately smells like paint. I think if you took a shot of vinegar, it'd be better.
So that gets a solid F tier. Not the best start, but let's be honest, this thing didn't have a chance. On to our next contestant. Oh, and one important note. Hello, this is, I guess, the new cabinet. My new cookbook is out, and if you didn't get a copy, now's a good time. The link's in the description. Love you so much. Stay hard. Smash burger taco. You know, you could just eat a burger. Why do we have to go this way, huh? All right, whatever. First, burger sauce. Small bowl, mayo, ketchup, mustard, seasoned with salt and pepper. To taste, give that a whisk till combined, and that is your sauce. Get a hot griddle. To that, you're gonna add a 2 to 3 ounce, 75% lean ball of ground beef. Season with salt to taste. Cover with a raw-ass corn tortilla. Press using a burger press until as thin as possible. Sear for 1 to 2 minutes. Scrape underneath, flip, season with salt to taste. Add a slice of American cheese, okay? Cheeseburgers should have American cheese at least. Now, once the cheese is melted, it is done. So place it onto a board. Add your sauce, some shreddis. That's shredded lettuce. Thinly sliced white onion, diced pickle, and now we taste. I kind of like it.
I like it. What I wanted was a burger, and I still get a burger, I just don't get buns. So I think maybe from the aspect of like, is this a lower calorie option, lower carb option, and you want a burger, there you go. I think for me, I'd give it a B. Would I rather have a burger? Yes, but is this bad? No.
If I'm looking at visuals, taste, texture, overall experience, visuals, ugly. I never want to see an open-faced burger again. There's nothing more beautiful than 2 supple, glossy buns and a cheesy, melty, beefy inside. That's an iconic image, and this is bastardizing that. That said, taste and texture, it's pretty good, but the lack thereof of bun completely changes this experience. It is not a burger. It's a fatty taco that tastes like a burger because those ingredients are in there. So ultimately, I think I'll give it a solid, strong B+. So a B. It's good. Would I make it again? Maybe, but I wouldn't tell anyone about it. Hot chocolate bombs. This one was a big one for y'all. But is it really worth the effort? So you're gonna melt some chocolate over a double boiler, spoon that into a sphere mold. Who has that? Do you have that? Probably not. I had to buy these for this. Spread around to fill the mold, flip the molds upside down to drain the excess chocolate, and let that set at room temp. Yeah, that takes about 45 minutes, by the way. Take your half spheres out of the mold, fill with hot cocoa powder, a couple marshmallows, then use a hot knife to even out the edges, then quickly set another unfilled half sphere on top of that to glue the edges together. And when they're finished, they look like this. So there you go. I guess you just put this in hot milk.
Whoa, this is pretty cool.
Hey, yo, it's kind of like a clam opening up. I'm not having fun, all right? I'm not smiling.
This is bringing me joy. Oh, that's good.
Pretty good. It would be good if you didn't have this in the hot chocolate bomb. This is purely for the theatrics of having the hot chocolate bomb melt, and it's like, oh my God. I think it's worth it. I think it's cute. If you have kids, that could be cool. I don't have kids. I recently got forced to get a cat. Cat's probably gonna piss in this.
I was gonna say if I was 6, I'd enjoy this, but honestly, I enjoy it now. If this was made for me, this would be awesome. I don't think I would, you know, get the whole mold and make the chocolate and do all that. I'd rather just either go buy some hot chocolate or just make a mix. I'm gonna give it a B. It's really enjoyable.
This is all I have to say. You can make great hot chocolate a million ways. If you are willing to put in the time and effort to do all that work purely for the theatrics of having a ball pop in there, go right ahead. It tastes great, but I do think it's fun, and if I got this, I would be excited about it. So I'll give it a B. Not bad. Ramen lasagna. This looks like it was spawned from a deep REM nightmare. So in a 9-inch square baking dish, first start with a nice layer of night terrors, or the half of an instant ramen noodle, square, spoonful of ricotta on top. At this point, I was really questioning why we were doing this. A little bit of marinara sauce, mozzarella, fresh grated Parmigiano, the other half of your instant ramen noodle, more ricotta, marinara, mozzarella, and parm. Pop that into the oven at 375 Fahrenheit or 190 Celsius for 30 to 40 minutes. Pull it out, and it looks like this. Isn't that nice and horrific? Amazing. I can't wait to have a panic attack later. Cut it out, pop it on a plate, garnish with a little bit of chopped parsley, olive oil, flaky salt, fresh cracked black pepper, and now we taste. It's tomato sauce and cheese. It's gonna taste okay. There's no benefit to doing this though. It tastes the same as a lasagna, quotation marks, but you're turning the dial down on the actual experience of it because it's like a cheap ramen noodle that's like half cooked. Like yes, it's soft in the center, but the outside's got dried noodle.
I'd be very angry even if someone gave this to me. Even in those days in college when I really needed something, this is not something I would make. Not something I make now, not something I make then. The texture is pretty awful. It's just kind of all over the place.
There's no benefit to this at all. Nowadays, they make lasagna sheets that you can just put directly in the oven. You don't even have to boil them. To me, this is an F tier just because it's completely useless. Last thing I'll say for you to consider. You got family coming over to the house. Ask yourself, would you feel confident and comfortable serving them this? Because if the answer is no, that means you have shame for it. Think about that.
Yeah, that's an F.
That's an F tier. Healthy Coke. Boy, did this one piss me off. I don't even like Coke, and this is definitively wrong, but you know what? We're here to try things, okay? We do this for you. So to a cup, add ice, balsamic vinegar. Yeah, I know. Trust me, I was thinking the same thing. Seltzer water, and give it a light stir. Oh my God, it looks just like Coke. Wow. Yeah, no. You could put soy sauce in seltzer water and look the same. Who came up with this? Some people say it tastes like Coke. I guess we'll find out. This is dumb.
I'm not excited for this.
Hell hath frozen over. If this even tastes remotely like Coke. It's not bad.
I'm pretty shocked. I was gonna say this is an F straight out of the gate, but like, that's not bad.
It's not bad.
That's shocking.
But does this taste like Coke? No.
No.
Not at all. Here's what I will say though. Anybody in culinary or into bartending or drinks, you know about the shrub. It's a vinegar-based drink, and they're very common in a lot of different cultures. So really what you made was a balsamic vinegar shrub. In a way, I'm very heavy on the quotations here, but it's not a Coke. Tastes good though. I'll give it a C.
This is really enjoyable. There definitely are pockets where you're like, oh, that's a little too much. But outside of that, it's really good. I'll give it a C as well.
Not bad, but not great. Chili oil eggs. This is pretty basic. I don't even know how this blew people's minds, but I mean, you literally are gonna fry eggs in spicy chili crisp. Here's how it's made. Get a non-stick pan, add a couple tablespoons of spicy chili crisp. Once it's hot, crack your eggs into the pan, season lightly with salt, and fry your eggs. Over easy, over hard, whatever you like. Although over hard's kind of a weird choice. The biggest problem with this method is the dried chilies burn really quickly, just generally. So putting them in a hot pan, kind of weird. Why not just add it to your eggs after the fact? Which is a common thing. That said, you garnish with little green onion, sesame seeds, and we taste. It's exactly what you might suspect if you've ever had chili oil. These eggs are perfumed with the spice and the smokiness of the chili oil. It's a little spicy, it's a little sweet. You got the MSG umami, and obviously it's a little extra rich because you got more oil on there.
And I mean, it's super versatile as well. You can put this on toast, you can put it in your fried rice, you can put it on normal rice. You could have it just by itself, and it's great. Will I give this an S tier for it being a TikTok viral thing? No, I think this is a very traditional thing that just happened to go viral on TikTok. I'll give this an A, but I won't credit any of that to TikTok.
This is not reinventing the wheel, but it is delicious. So it's a strong and powerful A tier and definitely worth making. Moving on. Sushi bake. I hate this, but we're gonna give it a fighting chance. So you're gonna rough chop some imitation crab, rough chop some cooked salmon, then in a medium mixing bowl add kewpie mayo, cream cheese, sriracha, rice vinegar, whisk together, and fold in your quotation marks crab, not quotation marks salmon. Then in a 9x13 baking dish, add some sushi rice into the bottom, layer on torn nori sheets on top. God, this is abysmal. I mean, there are whole people who've dedicated their lives to the craft of sushi, and this feels a bit like a spit in the face, bruv, but you know, whatever. Add your meat mixture to the baking dish, spread evenly, bake at 375 Fahrenheit or 190 Celsius. Pull it out, add sriracha, kewpie mayo, maybe some green onion, sesame seeds, whatever floats your boat, and whatever will cover this up so you don't have to look at it. And now we taste. Visually, man, that's rough. The green onions and everything on there helps it does turn into something. I can't help but think about the fact that we made a sushi casserole. It just feels trashy, but I will say it does taste surprisingly good. I don't like that it's warm though. That's knocking some points off. Texturally, the rice is nice. It didn't get too soft. It's creamy. That said, I prefer it in the form of a roll. I'm gonna give it a C, but an enjoyable C tier.
From just like a non-cook perspective, making sushi is just such a big task for me. I enjoy sushi, I enjoy going out and eating sushi, but but I'm never in the mood to really make sushi at home. I think that convenience is great. Out of what's on TikTok, this is an A for me, but I can also understand why it's a C for you.
I think putting those votes together, this settles at a surprising, for a sushi casserole, B tier. Puff pastry tarts. This one seems like doing 80% of the work of making a tart and then just half-assing the rest of it. I don't know how I feel about this. To a sheet tray lined with parchment paper, drizzle a random spot lightly with extra virgin olive oil, a touch of reduced balsamic vinegar, thinly sliced shallots, fresh thyme, some crumbled feta, and then you're gonna lay a rectangular piece of puff pastry on top of that, seal the sides with a fork, and then brush lightly with egg wash. Pop that into an oven at 400 Fahrenheit or 204 Celsius for 20 to 25 minutes. They come out looking like this, and the underside has shallots. I mean, it doesn't look too bad, but I mean, why not just make the full tart? I guess we'll find out.
I'm not in love with it. I mean, I love shallots, balsamic vinegar, puff pastry. It's just kind of like, ah.
These are all flavors that work. It's easy to do.
You're getting a lot of just balsamic puff pastry before you even get to the shallots. So I'm between a C and a D. Honestly, I'm gonna give it a D just because I have no purpose for this, and I think it's pretty purposeless.
It's a solid D, maybe even a C, but I'm gonna keep it at a D. Ah, the butter board. Can we all talk about how unsanitary and gross and weird this trend is? Like, why? Just put, whatever, we'll get into it later. We all know how this is done. You get a cutting board and you spread really gross dollops of butter all over the board. I guess if you try really hard, it could kind of look cool, but at the end of the day, you're just smearing butter all over a board, which I guess to each their own, right? You know, we all have mental breakdowns. And then you can top it with whatever you want. Chili crisp, bacon, honey, flaky salt, chives, dill, mint. That's what I did. I'm sure it'll taste good, but it's like being like, hey, do you want some soup? And then you're pouring soup directly on the table. Anyway, let's taste.
I also took one bite and I'm good. I like the flavors. That has nothing to do with the method of a butter board. You just know that even if you make this for a party, it's gonna get ruined. You're gonna have someone that comes in, it's like, oh cool, is this a butter board? And just go like
oh,
that.
You
Now who wants that? Josh added all on these other flavors, but like after just one big glob of butter, I'm like, I'm out. It's just so much butter.
It does taste good, I will say.
It doesn't taste bad.
You can achieve the exact same experience, much less gross and much more tidy and orderly, because after this is 25% gone, it's gonna look nasty at your dinner party.
I don't have a single friend that would enjoy me making this. I would enjoy making this. So for me, it's a solid F.
It's an F. Smashed croissant. This one's funny. On one end, it's sort of like a candied croissant pancake, which I'm into the concept, but in that process, you have to crush the multitude of layers that have taken quite literally days to make with years of pastry skill, just kind of smushed. So that being said, get a croissant. Use a rolling pin to roll it as thin as possible. Then in a pan set over medium heat, add a little melted butter, add your smashed croissants, brush with honey on the top of the croissant, place a piece of parchment onto the croissant, then use a stock pot to weigh that down, turn the heat to low, and toast for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then flip, brush again with honey, parchment back on, weigh down, and toast for 2 to 3 more minutes, or until caramelized, chewy, and crisp. Top that with some torn fresh burrata, mortadella, pistachios, a touch of extra virgin olive oil, flaky salt, and fresh cracked black pepper. Let's taste. Oh yeah. I will say we didn't put arugula on this. Why didn't we put arugula on this? Because that's gross. Just throwing raw arugula on something shows that you are being classless and have no inventive thoughts whatsoever.
I really like it. There's a lot of people that can hate on this method of how this is put together.
Any French person that sees this, I guarantee you, is going to say F you when they see that.
But in America, this is cool.
I almost want to give this an S tier, but we have to recognize this is just a croissant that was smashed and candied with some burrata and Italian cured meat, and that's it. And it tastes awesome, and you should make it, and it's very easy to make. It's a strong, strong, strong A. We can't just give out an S tier to something like this.
Is it mind-blowing, super inventive to be on this viral scale? I don't think so in terms of like an S, but I would give it an A.
Strong A.
Strong A, I agree.
A tier, moving on. $1 million spaghetti. I don't know where the $1 million came from, but there's definitely spaghetti in this. Here's how it's made. So cook and drain some spaghetti. Preheat a saucepan over medium-high heat. Add sweet Italian sausage. Sear until nice and browned. Break that up with a potato masher. Cook that through. Remove the sausage. Reduce the heat to medium. Add onions. Season to taste with salt. Cook till translucent. Then add garlic. Fresh cracked black pepper to taste. A little bit of Italian seasoning. A little bit of marinara. Add your sausage and stir to combine. Now, to your cooked spaghetti, you're gonna add a touch of marinara to that as well for some reason. I didn't make this recipe. Toss that together. Then in a medium mixing bowl, add cream cheese, ricotta, mozzarella, sour cream, and fold together with a spatula. Okay, this is where the directions get really questionable. So you're gonna take a 9x13 baking dish, and you're gonna add some cubed butter at the bottom. Wow, okay. I'm going to call a psychiatrist after this. Add half your spaghetti, your cheese mixture, followed by the rest of your spaghetti, then your meat sauce, then mozzarella, and more cubed butter. Ah, America. Bake it 350 Fahrenheit or 175 Celsius, and look at this. Oh, wow, so nice. At least there's a cheese pull. See, the cheese pull is there to confuse you on how dumb this is. Let's taste.
What this looks like is what it tastes like. It's very middle of the line. It's just pasta.
You wanna know what $1 million lasagna is to me? A lasagna that was made with love and intention and made with the highest quality ingredients properly with real technique. That might be worth the title of $1 million lasagna because it's actually a lasagna.
I'd give it a C. It's not a lasagna. Well, it is a lasagna, but it's not really a lasagna. Doesn't deserve the title.
I just want to clarify, my annoyance here is not because it's not good. It's because it's not that mind-boggling. Maybe that's what the internet is about sometimes. Sometimes the internet is about, like, people are scrolling, they're not really thinking that deeply. They're just kind of like, oh, cool. But it's not oh, cool. It's okay. So we'll settle on C. Are you gonna be blown away by it? No, not really. Moving on. Yogurt toast. Wow. This didn't need to exist, but in a medium mixing bowl, you're gonna add yogurt, egg, maple syrup, whisk until it has a, God, why does it look like that? Then you're gonna take slices of white bread and indent a circle in the center. Look, I didn't make this up, okay? It's only hurting every fiber of my being to do this. Spoon in your yogurt mixture into the indent, add some fresh fruit on top. We did some raspberries, blueberries, and then for some godforsaken reason, it's popped into an air fryer at 350 Fahrenheit or 175 Celsius for 8 to 12 minutes. You pull it out. It looks like this. You dust it with powdered sugar so you don't have to look at it, and now we taste. Completely carried by the fruit. I don't detect at all the custard element. Let me try it by itself. It's a relatively purposeless and flavorless custard. It's also super overcooked in the world of custards, and it'll never not be super overcooked. You wanna know why? Because you're blasting it in an air fryer. That's not how you make custard, sweetheart.
This whole thing is just screaming convenience, but convenience just dips the quality of it. You're like, oh, I want all my things for breakfast all together in my air fryer, and you're not gaining anything from that. I mean, there's no taste other than the fruit.
It looks better than it tastes.
That is true.
And it doesn't look that good. So I'm gonna give it a big old D.
D for sure.
Moving on to baked feta pasta. This was one of the first big trends I saw, and it made me realize that many people don't care about some of the things that I really care about, and it hurt my feelings. So let's make it. 9x13 baking dish, add some cherry tomatoes, some olive oil, salt and pepper to taste. Toss that together, add a block of feta in the middle for whatever unholy reason. Bake at 400 Fahrenheit for 30 to 35 minutes. You pull it out, and at this point you're thinking, oh, this does kind of look nice, right? Blistered tomatoes, but at the same time, you don't realize the terrors you're committing right now. So you're gonna add some cooked pasta to that, toss together, fresh chopped parsley, toss, that's it. The reason why people love this? Because it's easy. But do people really love it for the taste? I guess we'll find out. It doesn't taste bad, but somehow this tastes like a diet pasta. The irony is, it's not low calorie or low fat.
I'm trying to think of who would like it. It definitely hits the one pot pasta crowd for sure. I mean, do I know people that would really enjoy this? I think my wife would love this. I think it wouldn't be hard to make, and I think that she would eat a whole pan of it. I'd give it a B. It's not for me.
It is very convenient, but again, I really need a high reward for the convenience because I feel like a carbonara isn't that much harder than this. I would call this faux convenience. I'm gonna have to veto this, say it's a C if you're willing to give up your B.
Yeah, I'm fine with C.
We're calling this a C tier. Moving on. Cloud bread. How about this? We'll just do it and we'll let it speak for itself. In a large bowl, whisk together egg whites using electric beaters, then gradually add sugar, cornstarch, and beat until stiff peaks. Spoon your egg white onto parchment paper lined baking tray. You're gonna shape it into sort of a weird cake and bake at 300 Fahrenheit or 150 Celsius for 20 to 25 minutes. It comes out looking like this, and everyone thinks it's so cool because when you crack into it, oh my God, it looks just like a cloud. So what? I guess if you wanna make a little science experiment for the kids, like that seems like a good use of this. For eating or even calling this food is a jailable offense. So let's taste.
I was very impressed with how it looked, and I smelt it, and it legitimately smells like my dog. It is tremendously
Oh my God, that's
stinky.
That's traumatic.
Oh, I almost threw up.
All right, let's eat it then. If I could rewind time about 10 seconds ago and not have eaten that, I would be 10 times happier than I am probably for the rest of my life.
That's maybe one of the worst things I've tasted. That's an F. That's a full-on inedible F.
This is not food. That's an F. Yeah. Pickled fries. This one I felt was a little interesting. And when I say that, I mean, the sound effects he used sounded questionably crunchy. For potatoes soaked in a liquid, I'm not so sure about that, but we're gonna find out. Peel your potatoes, cut into 1/4-inch planks, then 1/4-inch sticks, then into a quart mason jar. You're gonna add salt and water, add a 2.5 to 3% brine, add in your potatoes, mustard seeds, black peppercorns, fresh dill, crushed garlic, and then lightly top with the lid, because if you tie this down, it might explode, so just lightly. Set at room temperature for 5 days, then drain the brine from your potatoes. Lay your potatoes on a paper towel and dry as much as possible. See, at this point, I'm thinking, oh, really nice waterlogged potatoes, and they're nice and wiggly. But look, we're optimists here, so we're gonna keep pressing on. So first we're gonna fry that at 320 Fahrenheit or 160 Celsius till just cooked through and pale on the outside. If you notice little bubbles starting to form on the outside, there's almost already a crust, which I'm surprised to see. But we'll see if this gets any better. Drain that onto a paper towel lined baking sheet, increase the heat of your fry oil to 350 Fahrenheit or 190 Celsius, and fry till crispy and golden. Pull them out. I'm not gonna lie, listen to this. They're sounding crispy. You might have a chance here. You have to season these immediately with salt when they come out of the fryer while they are still hot, or the salt will not stick. Then all we have to do is place this on a nice little plate with some ketchup and mayo, and we taste.
What the f? Tastes as good as it sounds. I think this is like now the ultimate way to make a fry. I never thought that pickling fries would lead to flavor like this. You got the garlickiness, you got a bit of sweetness in it, just a lot deeper of a flavor that you normally get compared to if you just put seasoning on it.
I should clarify, these aren't really pickled. They're actually lacto-fermented, but they do give them a pickly taste. I don't know if I can say if these are my favorite fries that I've made just because I have a different technique in my book, but damn, these are up there.
As someone that doesn't have a book, this is maybe the top one.
There's nothing wrong with this. I mean, this is very contributive, I think, to like the cooking game. And I'm sure there's something with the brining process and them sitting for so long and the salt somehow creating some sort of chemical reaction that creates this beautiful crust of crunch and chew. And the inside's cooked nicely and it's flavored however you want it to be flavored. In this case, it tastes like a dill pickle. That's an S. That is the most qualified S I can think of.
I agree. This is actually food science on TikTok and for a great end result.
I gotta give a shout out to Val Moore at appetite.life on TikTok and Instagram. Dude, I don't know if this is OG your technique, but you're the only place I've ever seen this done. I love you. You did something good for us today.
Made my tummy happy.
Look, the moral of the story to this video, to me, is this. I hope people spend more time enjoying things more meaningful rather than the endless scrolling of 30-second highlight reels. It's hard to tell the truth, what's right and wrong, or even form any sort of an opinion when you only have seconds to understand it. Yet nowadays, we seem to think that that's enough time. It's the lack of time spent on these things that create barriers and hurt communities in food. So remember, there's always a lot more to be enjoyed in the little bits and pieces of a singular thing that you really sit down and digest. It's okay to spend more time on things and maybe slow life down a little bit. But even after saying all that, there still might be something good in it after all. But only time will tell.